So it's a new year, which means a bunch of us are going to be setting up new journals, but before we can do that, we first have to jump down an 8-hour rabbit hole when we're looking at all these YouTube videos and binge watching every single journal setup in existence before we find the perfect setup for us. Well, I'm here to save you a little bit of time because I'll be going through my 5 previous bullet journals, or 6 now I guess, and showing you my favorite setups and custom collections that I've made over the years. We are first going to start with the core collections that the original bullet journal method suggests, so let's jump right into it and start with the key. Over the years, I've changed my key from being on the page to being on a sticky note so I could more easily reference and learn my symbols as a beginner, but one thing that's kind of stayed the same is I've pretty much stuck with the original key signifiers and only added 2 custom ones. That would be the heart, which I use for birthdays, and the triangle, which I use for due dates. Similar to the key, I've also kept my index pretty in line with the original bullet journal method. I played around with color coding and dedicated indexes, but that's pretty much it. Now when it comes to the future log, I found that the original future log was just not enough room for me, which made me switch to a Alistair method future log. I really like how this type of future log doesn't have any divisions and spacing, so that I don't have a situation where one month is filled up with dates and I don't have more room, but then another month is empty. But there's tons of ways you can customize this collection. If you guys have watched any of my Plan With Me videos, then you would know that this is my go-to monthly log layout. I have my vertical calendar and then kind of a mental inventory spread where I have my tasks and projects on one page, my habits, notes, and wins on the other, and I find this is the perfect amount of room for me. Now when it comes to daily and weekly pages, I really like doing a daily log style of journaling, which I'll sometimes customize with a time ladder or a habit tracker. But for people who are looking for a weekly solution, I have found that the rolling weekly is a really good option that I would recommend checking out. And now we come to the fun part, which is custom collections. Kicking it off, we got some cover pages. Cover pages are a really great way to add division in your journal. They don't have to be super fancy, they can be as simple as you want, but I do like the way it sections my journal into different chapters. I always love to have a really strong goal setting spread, and this one that you're seeing right now has been my favorite. It's super simple, but super effective, and less effective has been my memory spread, which I always forget to fill out. But besides these 2 spreads, I do want to recommend setting up a year at a glance. This is just a serious time saver. Now going into more productivity-based collections. The grid spacing sheet is a great one to save you time, especially if you're designing a lot of different spreads. It does take a while to set up, but it's worth it. I always love a good project log so I can brainstorm any projects I have going on, as well as a timeline so I can map out my projects and maybe even expand it into a full spread so I can figure out all of my stuff. Now for students, I have a full setup video on this, but some spreads I like using are the timetable and the due date overview spread. In grad school, I don't really buy a lot of textbooks anymore, but if I did, I would definitely be using the textbook tracker. Alright, moving on to more like personal wellness and hobbies. One big area of collections I have in my journal is for reading. I have both a reading log, which tracks my reading over the year, as well as a ton of different reading notes throughout my journal, which is great for capturing all of the key points in books that I want to remember. I also have some other spreads like a capsule wardrobe inventory. I've done that kind of on and off, which is fun and a good way to remember what kind of clothes you have before you go out and buy more, which I can kind of do because I'll buy myself the same things I already own. And some other good things to do is having a spending tracker, maybe not now, but later a traveling tracker, or my personal favorite, a recipe box tracker. Also, you can have seasonal bucket lists, maybe a spot where you can record self-care activities that you can reference when you're having a day where you need some extra support. And another one that's pretty big in my journal is my plant care tracker. Without this guy, my plants would definitely be dead, so I'm very, very thankful for it. And I've set it up in 2 journals now, which is kind of fun. The fun thing about bullet journaling is you can be super flexible with any of your spreads, so sometimes I've done little collages on certain pages when I am trying to get some inspiration, and if I'm trying to figure something out, I'll just turn the page and do a quick sketch to get my thoughts out of my head, which is part of why I love the system, and I love how You can really write anything in your notebook if you want to. Of course, another fun thing to add to your notebook is marker swatches from new markers you may have gotten, as well as the washi tape collection spread. This one is definitely really fun to look at. And if you want something more practical, I would definitely recommend having a pen swatch page at the back of your journal. This will just be really helpful for making sure you're not going to use a marker in your journal that's going to bleed like crazy and be a major issue. So now that I've showed you a couple of my bullet journal spreads, I thought I'd point out some cool other bullet journal people to check out to get even more inspiration for your new journal. All of these people have really unique styles and journaling aesthetics. Some are really minimal, while some are really artistic and paint and draw in their journal, which is really cool. So I will have everyone linked below so you can check out their YouTube or social medias. Alright, and that is the end of this video. I hope that you guys were able to get some inspiration for your new journal setup for the new year. And if you want more inspiration, I will have my journal setup for 2021 coming out next Friday. And besides that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you're doing well and staying safe and not getting too down in the darker season. And besides that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.